Dr. Benita Zahn.
Feeling depressed? Anxious? Well, first of all, you're not alone. And second, you may be interested in the latest book penned by Dr. David Burns. He's an adjunct clinical professor emeritus of psychiatry and behavioral sciences at the Stanford University School of Medicine. He's also the author of the bestseller Feeling Good. It's called Feeling Great, the new one, the revolutionary new treatment for depression and anxiety. And the book is just hitting the stands, and we've got the good doctor with us from the West Coast. Hi there, Dr. Burns. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I went through the book. And it's very easy to read and to utilize, and in many ways, it seems to me a primer in identifying and changing your attitude.
Absolutely.
But sometimes that sounds easier said than done. So, people will say to you, just buck up, see the sunny side of things. Talk to us a little bit about the step-by-step approach that you advocate.
Oh, yeah, telling people to buck up is horrible. It never helps anyone, just makes people feel terrible. But there's two keys to feeling great. One is to realize that your thoughts and not the events in your life create all of your moods. And when you're feeling down, depressed, anxious, you're giving yourself negative messages like, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, things are hopeless, I'll never change, I should be better than I am, things like that. And those thoughts contain 10 thinking errors, like all or nothing thinking. If I'm not a complete success, I'm a total failure. Or emotional reasoning, I feel like a loser, so I must be one. And the really powerful idea is at the very moment you challenge and crush those thoughts and see that they're not true, your feelings will change.
But let me jump in, Dr. Burns. Let me jump in. Yeah. For some people, this has been their modus operandi for so long that to now back away from it somehow reinforces that you were a loser, failure for having thought that way for so long. So help us through that little, that change area.
Well, that's one of the huge new developments from my work at Stanford in the past 10 years is what you're referring to is hugely important, therapeutic resistance. Most people who are depressed will want to change, but they fight change. And what we found is developed is new techniques to melt away resistance really quickly. And what we've discovered is that the reason you remain stuck in depression or get drawn into depression is not because of what's wrong with you, like a chemical imbalance in your brain is not really a valid theory, or because you have some kind of mental disorder, but it's because of what's right with you. What's great about you is really what causes your depression and anxiety, you and your core values. And the moment you realize this, the moment you see this, your resistance will disappear paradoxically, and it'll be very easy for you to crush the distorted thoughts that are causing your depression and anxiety. That's it, kind of in a nutshell.
So we sort of have a dissonance between what we're telling ourselves and what's real.
Yes, that's right. Depression and anxiety are the world's oldest cons, but when you're depressed, you don't realize that you're conning yourself, that what you're telling yourself is basically untrue because the thoughts feel so real. You say, I feel like such a loser, I feel so hopeless, so I must be a loser, I must be hopeless. But the really important thing is for listeners to know that there were a lot of research on my first book, Feeling Good, and about 50 to 65% of the people who you give a copy of that book to will recover in 4 weeks with no treatment, with no drugs, no psychotherapy. And a lot of people, that's why the book became so, and still is so tremendously popular. The new book, Feeling Great, has all the latest techniques. Feeling Good has the techniques that were available in 1980 when I published it. Now we have even more powerful techniques, and so listeners might want to know, because all you hear on TV is antidepressants and go to a shrink or something. But most people can break out of bad moods quickly without drugs and without lengthy therapy. And that's really the message of the book. And plus, I'm putting these methods in the hands of readers so you can do it yourself if you want to overcome depression and anxiety.
Are there some folks, though, for whom it is a chemical issue and they really do need that therapy and they do need the medication to help them out?
Well, first of all, brain issues are virtually never chemical issues. The brain is a high-powered computer, and there are certainly genetic influences in depression and anxiety, but some disorders like schizophrenia are really true issues of brain tissue. It's not a chemical imbalance, but there's some abnormality. And some people are definitely who are hallucinating, psychotic, or extreme manic states definitely will need medications. I've never been against medications and started my career, doing brain research and psychopharmacology. But I think people will be encouraged to know that the vast majority of people struggling with depression and anxiety, even if you've been struggling with it for years or decades, can break your way out of depression and anxiety and get back to joy and self-esteem without drugs and without lengthy therapy. And that's what's new and important. When I'm working with people, I generally see a complete elimination of symptoms in a single therapy session lasting about 2 hours. And this is something entirely new. Most, even, when I was a psychiatric resident, I was taught depression takes years to develop and years to overcome. And as a resident, I was trained to say, tell me more and take this pill. Right. But it just didn't work for most people.
Dr. Burns, is it a durable, if you will, recovery, or is the recovery even the right term? But this feeling emotionally bitter. Yeah.
It's more than recovery, because what I'm looking for is not only a rapid and complete elimination of symptoms, but actually getting propelled into a state of joy and euphoria. And people don't want to feel less depressed. They want to wake up and say, hey, it's great to be alive. I have so much to look forward to. And the faster you recover, and the more dramatic your recovery, the better the long-term prognosis is. When you go to therapy and it takes forever and you're not getting anywhere, that just creates feelings of hopelessness.
Well, the book is, I'm looking at
recover really fast. Yeah. That's a very different message.
The book, again, Feeling Great, the revolutionary new treatment for depression and anxiety. Literally, your health is in your hands.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Burns, thank you. And thank you all for joining us for this edition of Health Beat. For more info, just go to our website. I'm going to put a link to the book, and we'll see you next time.